Yeah,
Greetings and
Bungie.
salutations, gamers. Welcome to Cast Co-op, the podcast in which three podcast hosts cast together. I am one of your hosts, Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost, joined by my big brother and yours, the host of Season Gaming's Bitcast, Ainsley Bowden.
What's happening, fellas? Has it been 3 weeks again? Feels like
It's been a minute.
Long. It's been too long.
I don't think it's been 3. Has it been 3?
I don't know. It's been too long.
Our last episode, we got to talk about the biggest deal in video game history.
We did.
All right.
And so that's
and it was our biggest episode in history, in Cast Co-op history, too.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
And by the way, guys, this is episode 20.
Hey, look at that. Episode high five. Very cool.
We'll
get to our topic.
Intro.
That's fine. That's fine. I skipped the entire name of my actual show. We'll get to our topic in just a moment. First, I must introduce host of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, Mr. Badbit. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I got my new Bloodborne shirt today.
It looks good.
Yeah, right. It really does. This is a really good Trophy Room themed Bloodborne shirt. You know where to go. Yeah, no, Adam Leonard just hit it out of the park. Yeah, man, we got news to talk about, and honestly, you two are my least favorite people to talk about this with. So I'm just here.
Hey,
no,
man,
truth be told,
I can rain on your parade. I'm ready.
Good. Truth be told, I've had like 4 hours of sleep in the combined 2 days because I've been a little under the weather. So if you see me like sneezing, you know why. I'm thick.
You're a little thick, a little sniffles.
Yeah,
little sniffles.
It's not good.
I love that all the Omicron symptoms are just exhausted worker. You know, like, are you tired? Do you have the sniffles?
Feel overworked and underappreciated.
Yeah. Are you stressed?
Underpaid.
Yeah. My future son-in-law just tested positive today.
Really?
And he may have my stepdaughter positive as well. She's starting not to feel good. So
all right. Let's ask the question that every step parent gets. You like this kid? You like this kid?
He's the first one I've liked. So yeah.
Oh, here you go.
Okay.
Right.
He's a good guy.
Right.
Good guy.
That's good.
Joe, you guys have gamed with him probably.
Yeah, we have
Dave,
actually.
Dave?
Yeah.
Dave's my best friend. We've been texting all day.
He's got the vid.
Here's the thing about having stepkids, I would imagine. You're not like you're invested because, you know, they're your wife's kids.
Stay tuned for this one.
But like you're not like I doubt like you have the same investment, you know? It's just like
Depends on when you get them. At least in teaching, I can see it's when you get them.
Yeah, like if I become a stepdad, I'm like, don't call me dad, just call me Joe. I'm not going to discipline you.
Well, if there's 2, they're going to call you dad.
I mean, yeah, I feel like there's an age cutoff. Ains, is there an age cutoff?
I don't even know how to respond to this conversation.
You know who we need? Dave.
What?
Let me text him.
Yeah. Anyway, how are you, Ains?
That's good. All right. So, gentlemen, in the last episode, we talked about the biggest acquisition. There we go.
Nice.
We talked about the biggest acquisition in video game history. And this week, we've got another acquisition on the docket to discuss. This one financially dwarfed by Microsoft's acquisition of Activision. Nonetheless, I think pretty darn important. And I'm a really big fan of this acquisition of Bungie by Sony, particularly due to the wording. I've got Ty Guy Travis, who disagrees with me, coming on XCP this upcoming weekend. Humble plug there. But, gentlemen, I feel like this was a good deal, a big deal. What was your first take? Ains, can I go to you first so that we can round into Joe after the fact?
Yeah, you can. I was actually just pulling up something on the side here, which I'm sure is reflecting and you can see. Yeah, no, this is I like this deal. I like this deal for PlayStation because it's very clear what has kind of come out over the 2 days since we first heard this now. You know, there's been interviews and discussions about it with Jim Ryan and some others from PlayStation leadership. And I like it because it's clear that we've talked a lot on this show about Microsoft looking to the future and making big moves to the future of gaming. And we've talked a lot about PlayStation seeming kind of indifferent to changing their ways. And I know Joe's talked about this a lot, obviously, on Trophy Room. This is a signal, and I think the conversations around this have really signified back to fans like us that PlayStation is not just resting on its laurels. They're very serious about what the future of gaming is and where it's going, at least in their vision. And part of that is they know that they have everything we've talked about before: really strong IP, fantastic single player games, great brand loyalty, all those things we talk about, like I said. But they realize their weakness is in live service expertise, PC porting, which they've corrected with an acquisition more recently as well, and building out the future of kind of ongoing interactive games. Some people call them gas, whatever you want to call them, but games and environments where people can invest into for the long term. And knowing PlayStation's kind of focus on quality, I don't think anyone can really argue with first party quality out of PlayStation, except for Days Gone.
How could
Days Gone?
Yeah, Days Gone, which is still good. If that's your worst,
you're doing okay.
You're doing well.
It's no Crackdown 3, that's for damn sure. We can all agree there, at least. Jesus.
Right, Luke?
I love that game.
But my point being is that this has made clear that they're serious about needing to up their quality in the live service arena. So it's come out that they want to build 10 live service games by 2026, which, if you do the math, should be right around the tail end of this generation. They've bought studios to do that previously, some smaller studios. Obviously, Bungie is pretty much best in class at building worlds and online interactive entertainment in the console space. And we can get into this later, but there's the conversation of, did they overpay? And they only make Destiny. Why would you spend $3.5 billion on?
I saw Michael Hector's take on that.
Michael Hector's
what a moron!
Man. He hasn't been relevant. Maybe
no,
ever.
They didn't overpay.
But
Jesus.
no, they, in my opinion, they didn't overpay. But anyway,
I like Michael Hector. He's my best friend. I'll tell you.
Again, I'm kind of going on because there's a lot to unpack.
But
point being, I like this. I think it helps them. I think it's good. I like hearing that Sony is going to start investing in live service, because I love their first single player stuff. Just like on the Xbox side, I love their live service stuff. Xbox is making RPGs, single player games now. Great. PlayStation is going to invest in live service. Great. I get the best of both worlds on both platforms.
Joseph?
Yes, I like this move a lot, man. It's really, because to me, it's like one of my favorite developers comes to my platform of preference, and it's a really weird feeling of, wow. Even just saying it out loud, Sony owns Bungie, the makers of Halo and Destiny,
who are on their third owner.
Their third owner, which, you know what? I hear the third one, that's the keeper one.
We live in a world where Xbox owns Call of Duty and PlayStation owns the makers of Halo.
Yeah.
What is even happening in 2022?
MLB The Show is launching now onto the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
It's like we said last episode.
Nothing makes sense. Up is down is left. It's just, man, it's wild to think, and I share the literal same sentiments from Ains. Like, Sony's PlayStation is in the reverse of Microsoft. They have really great and beloved IP, single player IP, but they don't have any live service games at all, or that people care about. And so,
All Stars.
I knew you were gonna bring it up. I knew it. So, games that people care about. So I think this purchase of Bungie is really just aimed towards, we need your tools, your system, your teams to help us make whatever Insomniac's multiplayer game is, Naughty Dog's, Santa Monica's, and Gorilla's, and Fire Sprites, to make those sound experiences for our brand, to enhance it. So I really like this move where Bungie is pretty much like SCIE, right? If I remember that correctly. Where they're totally doing their own thing. They're their own business, doing what they want, putting games where they want. And we got then the PlayStation side doing what they want, but they just have utter and clear communication between the two companies. And that's what you want. You want those devs working together, sharing ideas, sharing tech, sharing engines. And this is just great news all around. I honestly, I don't know how many people can think that this is a bad deal.
Even if you're like an Xbox guy, this isn't a bad deal.
No, and because so I'm anxious. Again, I don't mean to plug it a second time, but I'm anxious to talk to Travis about why he doesn't think it's a good thing, because I see only good news out of this one.
Yeah.
It seems to me that Sony is acquiring knowledge for how to run a games as a service when they're looking to launch a program that is meant to be comparable to Game Pass. We don't know the ins and outs of it yet, but we do have on good authority. They are looking to do just that and have a games as a service. We know that they're getting, as you said, Ains, a best-in-class studio when it comes to shooting. I don't agree they are best-in-class when it comes to community management or working with their fans, but they certainly have a good track record of keeping an ongoing game alive. And we're looking at some of what are apparently, and this is based on reports because I've not played Destiny in some time, people who are now doing a great job at creating a power fantasy and crafting a story to go around it. That is fantastic news for a service that needs, experience, and it needs to be able to give counsel to its now coworkers. All the while, they're allowed to operate seemingly independently or in the form of a partnership while publishing on multi-platform, and we presume that to be Xbox included.
Yep.
This seems to me a good deal all around. No one seems to be losing anything. Bungie gets the financial support to flex a little bit. And the biggest news is the transmedia stuff that can come out of it because they have the Bungie IP, which includes Destiny. And so I was not at all upset by this. I get that it's odd Bungie goes to Sony and Activision's with Call of Duty and Crash Bandicoot are over with Xbox, et cetera, et cetera. But I thought this was great. $3.6 billion doesn't seem like a lot to acquire an IP that can have movies made about it, shows. We just had Arcane created. There's a Halo show on the way.
Which, to mention, the head of transmedia over at Riot apparently has left to join Bungie.
Yeah, and
what better news?
They have a new IP coming too, right? Which they've apparently already been working on for a number of years. And they created Halo, they created Destiny, two of the most successful IPs in gaming. So what's to think that they won't create the next whatever that happens to be? Especially now they were planning to launch in 2025. That's what they said last year. Now with the backing of Sony and PlayStation first party, I mean, you have to think it's only going to improve it, right? With that talent and studio sharing.
If that estimate was based on working in person, if it wasn't remote work.
Well, they said it last year. They were
right, but I don't
know.
Did we intend to still be in remote work 2 years out from that statement? That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm throwing out there.
So there's an interesting, just to quote kind of what we're talking about, which is what I was pulling up. We talked about the 10 live service games, and then they said this in this interview and conversation with Jim Ryan is, let me just read this quote. He says, in addition, we view the deployment of our game IP on multiple platforms as a major growth opportunity for Sony, as has been evidenced by the success of the PC versions of God of War and other first-party games. We've talked about that before, too. Through this acquisition, we intend to acquire new users and increase engagement on platforms other than PlayStation, which will enable us to significantly advance our long-term growth strategy and further expand the ecosystem of our business. I love that he said ecosystem. That's my word.
Yep.
So I think this is really interesting because a lot of people are sticking on the word other platforms, and rival consoles was said in another conversation. So I wanted to ask you guys, the question is, because I haven't talked to anyone about this yet, my thoughts is, do you think there's a future where we see some of Sony first party on platforms like the Switch?
I say absolutely we see them on Xbox.
You think PlayStation's going to publish on Xbox?
Dude, crazier things have happened in the past 2 weeks, I think.
Oh, I'm not denying
listen, the reason why I say it is we actually talked about this a bit on the trophy room this week, so you can add what I'm about to say here or find it if you want. But plug, if you're PlayStation, what's wrong if you give Xbox folks a taste of The Last of Us? And when I say like put your PlayStation games on here, I mean your games as service games. Like put factions on there. put Twisted Metal on there. What's that going to hurt? Well, like, you know, whatever that leads to is, oh my God, this game's really, really good. Well, maybe I am going to actually maybe check it out wherever. Maybe Spartacus is that streaming app on my TV. I'll just try it there, risk free.
And what do you make them do? Log into their PlayStation Network, log into their ID. The same argument can be made. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Because no. You're 100% right, Luke. And coupled with the fact of the most important thing for a live service game is population. Engagement. You can't just lock a multiplayer thing behind one platform and just succeed, right? You need as many as you can get. So I'm taking a look at like Halo Infinite, and I'm looking at how they're doing it of like, yep, they're on Xbox and they're on PC. And I'm taking a look at what PlayStation could do of like, yeah, absolutely on PlayStation, on PC to start. But if things start warming up between these two companies, maybe, yeah, we could see whatever multiplayer thing Neil Druckmann's cooked up on an Xbox for that player engagement. So that's what I'm really thinking. They really want as many people as they can here, because they've seen with like games like Destruction All-Stars or Predator or whatever, if you put a multiplayer thing out there and it's on just one platform, their population ain't there. It just quickly dies. So to me, I think it just makes sense that, yeah, you're going to see some PlayStation games on rival platforms.
And I think the comparison reminds me of somebody tweeted at Joe about playing Sea of Thieves on his PlayStation. And Joe has put hundreds of hours into Sea of Thieves, as have I, with him.
Yeah.
I would never care what system he played on. We play with our good friend CJ when he's on PC, right? Like, I don't care. I want to play. If they put Sea of Thieves, and this is the hypothetical, if Sea of Thieves went onto PlayStation, this live service game, and he has to log into his Xbox account on his PlayStation 5 years from now to play Sea of Thieves. All right. Okay. Like, he's spending money in the Emporium. He's logged in. He's engaged. That's hardware is going away. Microsoft, I think, is going away faster.
Yeah.
But like, hardware is going away. What do I care if he's using a DualSense or an Elite 2 or a poor man's controller with the regular Xbox controller? Like, whatever. Get the Elite 2. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's what do we care? And I think that's the direction Sony is preparing for. 10 live service games by 2026, isn't the intention. 10 years from now, do you need a PlayStation? No. Do you need an Xbox? No. You need to log in on your TV, on your device, whatever.
And PlayStation has, a leg up on that, where they have TVs that they can have just the app there. I mean, it was there for a long time, right?
It's
a long time ago.
Still is
on some. Yeah. Jesus. So it's not an impossible thought. I think I'm not as like hardware is dead in the next 5-10 years. I think it's still there.
You got 10 years. I think you have 10 years.
But for me, it is about just like, dude, we're going to see these games on each other's platforms. And I think both of them know that. And I think they both know that they, again, want themselves as competition, and they don't want Apple or Amazon in. And so whatever they need to do to make sure that it scares off Amazon and Apple, they will do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've been talking about this at a high level from a technical perspective for a long time now. And we had a conversation, I think, a couple weeks ago around what does PlayStation look like 5 years from now, right? And I think that I think you guys are on point. I kind of been talking about the capabilities of just people have personal investment in these brands and these platforms where they can't. Some people have a lot of trouble visualizing what a world without a box looks like.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know why it's so hard to conceptualize that you interact with your gaming brand outside of a box. I mean, I know Stadia is not the best example, but Stadia is that today. And when you watch Netflix, you don't think to yourself, oh, I've got to go watch Netflix in the living room because that's the TV that has Netflix. No, you just think you're going to watch Netflix from wherever the hell you are, whether you're on your laptop, you're in any room in your house, you're on your phone, you just log into Netflix. And that's what people really have to think about the future of gaming, be it Xbox and PlayStation both, even though it's been 3 decades or 2.5 decades of consoles, that's not the future. So I don't know. I that's a long-winded way to say we've been talking about this for a while, and I do agree with you. I think we see, especially games like you pointed out, Joe, that require engagement that are going to be on all platforms, and really this is going to be the next generation of revenue growth for these companies. I mean, Microsoft's already been talking about it. Like I said, it's kind of nice and refreshing in my mind, especially as a tech guy, to hear Sony talking about it as well, because they were just so quiet on this front last year, and we kept saying Sony's got to talk about what the hell they're doing, and now they're finally doing that, and I like it.
Yeah.
So is this not a major response to the Xbox's news? Did they not call Bungie a week ago and make this happen?
That's what I heard. Yeah, Michael Pachter told me, and they said they were like so desperate. They're like, "Please, BB, I'll give you whatever you want. Please, just come with me, BB, please. Yeah. We need to own Halo, and this is how we do it."
They took Crash Bandicoot from us.
Yeah. Now we're going to take.
Halo guy. Tim Ryan was running around with a Master Chief helmet.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Jim, slow down. You don't actually own the Master Chief. What?
What? Jim's like those NFT boys that bought that copy of Dune. Those freaking morons.
Now we're going to put Halo Infinite on our platform.
We're going to make Dune available for everyone.
It's truly infinite now.
Oh, God.
Did you see the picture of them with Jason Jones, co-founder of Bungie, and Jim Ryan and the Sony guys like signing the paperwork like 6 months ago? Did you see that picture? And like,
so
yeah,
awkward.
Yeah, they're like all smiling, and Jason Jones and Herman are sitting there like, holding arms or basically like half hugging and cheering, and Jim's just in the background like.
Jim looks like sluggish, like
he
me.
Looks like a troll, just like hanging out in the background.
He's got a fucking just a sweatshirt or like a hoodie, and it's like the raggedy old jeans. It's like Herman decided to pick up any old bloke on the sidewalk. He's like, "Hey, come here, we're about to sign a thing, huh? Is there food in there? Yeah, old man, come on."
Guys, this is my slow cousin. Just call him Jim.
Hey guys.
Guy's worth like $100 million. Like,
oh yeah.
My favorite meme to come out of this one was it's the Dr. Evil and Scott Evil one, where Scott Evil walks in the room and Austin Powers is like, "It seems the tables have turned again," and that's Xbox holding Activision Blizzard or whatever, and Dr. Evil's like, "Kill the little bastard, I don't care."
Oh God, what?
It's been good. It's
been
really good.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. We talked a lot though about like how this benefits PlayStation. Obviously, it benefits them a whole lot. Gives them that constant revenue. I think what Polygon wrote is like this. No, that's too smart for Polygon. I think GamesIndustry.biz wrote of like, this is their Minecraft. They needed a Minecraft. This is a constant revenue growth. They're really good at this type of business model, so on and so forth. But my question for you guys is like, what does this give Sony? Or sorry, Bungie. I'll go with you, Luke. How about that?
Yeah, no problem, man. So it gives Bungie financial backing and funding that they have historically needed, despite wanting independence. Right? That's why they've bounced from 3 owners and celebrated every time they've left their last 2 owners. But they clearly don't know how to handle that on their own, and that's not meant to sound like a criticism. But you left Xbox and celebrated. You went to Activision. And then you left Activision and celebrated, and something wasn't working right. And now you're with Sony. And what it does give them is financial backing, gives them the potential to tell new stories with the Bungie IP, whether that's going to be kind of the same bigger story, and they're going to have the kind of an extended universe that ties in, or they can do their own thing, kind of like Halo is its own thing in the show, so it's not bound by it, which I think is the best way to do it. Witcher has the books, the games, and the show. They're not bound to each other. This gives Bungie a way to expand their IP and celebrate the world that they've created with some pretty high level writing at times. And in turn, that'll become a cyclical profit. They'll engage people and bring them back to the game, and it'll be ongoing. And I think that's really awesome. And I hope they get rid of the numbers. Like, stop calling it Destiny 2, stop calling it Destiny 3, just Destiny, and then have a colon after it if you need to.
Right.
So that's what I think it gives Bungie is that financial security and the ability to expand their storytelling.
What about you, Ains? Yeah. So obviously, I think we're probably mostly in agreement here. I think Luke touched on most of the points. I think anytime you look at acquisitions like this, and especially in the gaming industry or tech space, you think about three things, which is IP, technology, and expertise. And Bungie kind of has three things there that Sony needs. They have strong ongoing IP. Probably, would you say Destiny's the strongest kind of live service game in the console market?
No, Fortnite. No, Fortnite.
Oh,
Fortnite, I guess.
Yeah, Fortnite. I would think the longest running, I would say like Destiny. That's why I think that. But continue.
Yeah, I guess as I said that, you've got Minecraft, you got Fortnite, Roblox is ridiculous.
Roblox is the biggest, which my students play that. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? What are you doing?
So you get that, you get IP, obviously, like we talked about, and their new IP, of course. Yeah. And you get expertise with live service, what we already touched on. So like I kind of already touched on it when I made my first comment, which is I just like that Sony's going to be able to capitalize on some of the understanding here to build their other live service games, which I hope plays into things like Twisted Metal, which I'm hugely excited for.
Yes.
So I want to see those type of IPs, Last of Us Factions, whatever that ends up being, all these things that they can do. If they bring Resistance back, please, come on. Stuff like that. I hope that, it all benefits from this.
Yeah. Yeah. I like, for me, I'm like, it's the Guerrilla IP. Like, I know it's the Horizon multiplayer. I want to see that thing so bad. But for Bungie, I think for them, it's really like, yeah, we get that financial backing to expand and to have bigger horizons set for us. And not just the team's portion, but it really is their want to make Destiny Star Wars. They know that this IP is super special, has a huge fan base that just built in from the get. You can get people's eyes on a TV or on a movie screen just by that fan base alone. So if you actually put some good money behind it, you have an opportunity to have not just a giant IP on the gaming front, but then you also have this massive IP for, the silver screen. And I think that's very important for Sony. I think every deal that we're going to see from Sony has to spell out, well, how is this not just good for, PlayStation? How is this good for the company overall and the other things that we do? That transmedia, that meta space vision that we have in our heads. Like, that's what this deal really rings to me, is like, we have a chance of seeing a good Destiny movie, live action video game adaptation.
I'm sorry.
What, Luke? No, go for it.
Well, the best Star Wars we've seen has come via Disney Plus. Some of the best Marvel storytelling has come via Disney Plus. Some of it not, right? Like, we've seen hits and misses. But this could be, this is a war for content, not consoles. And I think there's a case to be made for not being on the big screen, but having more controlled, smaller stories within the universe that allow you to tell a better story. Because Star Wars itself is a great example of when you try to go too big, you miss it. And if you can focus in and be a little more steady with your hand, then you might be able to get some better storytelling out of that. And that was just my thought. That was what was going on.
By the way, I'm an idiot because you asked, what does Bungie get out of this? And I went back to what does PlayStation get out of this? So I apologize.
How dare you?
Stupid, honestly.
Dude, he's so dumb. We carry him every week. Every week. It's the dementia pills. You forgot
to
take them.
You don't record every week. Yeah.
You see, you got us on our toes. Hey, I just had to send you guys an image because it's a Star Wars spoiler because Luke mentioned Star Wars.
Is it an NFT?
No, he's bringing them in cold, Jerry. Like that's the thing. I think there's immense potential here, and I think the best thing is why this deal, I love it so much, is it doesn't affect. It affects everyone, but like positively. Like no one is harmed in the making of this deal. Gamers, no matter where you're going to play, are rewarded for it. And I want to know if this sounds fanboyish. I really, really appreciate how PlayStation has been so forthcoming on this deal, and it kind of, for me at least, aims the camera back at Microsoft, going, "Okay, so what do you guys really mean now?" Because now it seems like you're talking to riddles on purpose.
I agree with you because it does. PlayStation's done a fantastic job thus far in their communication about the deal. I think because it's a smaller deal with less IP involved, there's a factor in that. I think the other factor is Activision has ongoing litigation, which I think limits their ability to do certain things. I mean, Ames just hired a lawyer for Bitcast, so he could probably tell you more.
That's
about
true.
it. But
no, I was going to say the same thing, is that they've got to be very careful what they say about the future plans for IP with the Activision deal, because until the FTC reviews it.
Yeah. And Jason Schreier, I believe specifically he and only he, didn't he call the antitrust people himself to raise concerns
upon his shoulders like the giant he is.
He was on vacation and said, "No, honey. Yeah, I'm gonna take care of this."
Yeah, he put his, for the first time. It was kind of like it's kind of like February. Jason pulled his head out of his ass, saw his shadow, and he's just like, "Oh, FTC, I have a request."
No, I think to the original point, Joe. That's, I think, the difference is Microsoft must tread carefully because it's such a bigger deal. This is, and I mean that financially. I'm not like trying to add weight to my opinion. I'm saying it's way more money involved, way more people involved, and ongoing litigations that are involved. I think the complexities there mean that Microsoft must tread carefully. Plus, Microsoft reorganized an entire division of its company to create this. So I think that's why you have it. That's not to say I don't wish it was that clear, because I really appreciated PlayStation's bluntness, and kudos to Bungie for using the verbiage they did and clearly wanting to go and stay multi-platform, be in charge of their stuff. This could be the deal they've been trying to get,
Yeah. I think after 2 divorces, the third one, you got to be like, I know what I want here. Clearly it wasn't with Activision, and clearly that was such a bad relationship that, I bet they were apprehensive with everybody that tried to approach them. And I think if in desperation for Sony or not, Sony was willing to say yes. And I think it's kind of like a twist of fate like type of thing where, we saw like a year or two ago, they tried to purchase the Warframe devs for similar reasons. And that deal fell through because of Tencent. And so to see them go to Bungie and give them this literal sweetheart deal that was too good to pass up, I think I think Bungie knew what they wanted. And because they were so steadfast in what they wanted, a lot of people probably saw themselves out until Sony said, all right, we'll say yes.
Yeah. I saw 2 things pop in my mind, and I'd like you guys to shed light on it for what I missed, right? Because I caught these kind of just in between moments today. Yeah. One was that Microsoft wasn't willing to pay that money for Bungie, and I don't know if that's true. I don't know if you guys saw something there. The second,
Jez reported that Microsoft was talking to Bungie, but they weren't willing to pay anywhere near that.
Yeah, it seems so strange.
I don't know if that's true. That's just he said that.
That's what he said. Okay, so no evidence or sources on that one. That's just a thing that a guy with a
Jez
decent
is usually
enough,
reliable though.
A decent enough record. I feel like we can say, all right, there's something there. So at first, and whichever one of you,
Jez reported it from his ivory tower.
Oh, got it. Whichever one of you is dropping things in the background, knock it off.
Wink, wink. We have fun here.
Joe, what are you doing in the background? It's crazy. Oh, it's your chair. I saw you move. Okay, that's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Your chair's doing a little squeaky squeak.
Oh, sorry.
I bet you the listeners don't even notice it, but I hear it. That's probably it. Okay. So the other question.
See how controlling he is, guys?
Did they overpay? Oh gosh. Oh, when somebody else, another analyst, that I liked, and I wish I could give them credit because I can't remember, but they laid out all the live service games and properties and IP that Microsoft now is going to be in control of, and it kind of pointed out like, well, they didn't really need Bungie and Destiny because they've got Diablo and Call of Duty and Halo Infinite and Sea of Thieves, and then it was like a much bigger Overwatch and a bunch of others. They've got a lot of ongoing revenue streams via multiplayer games versus what Sony had, which was much smaller. And so I wonder if that had a factor in it as well, as Microsoft had less need for Bungie versus Sony.
Yeah,
I think so. I think Phil basically called him up and said, just make sure Destiny's still on Xbox. We good? And that was it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Done.
Gotcha. So he swung that Call of Duty hammer that he can swing as much as he wants. Is that
how ridiculous is that conversation, by the way? Have you seen those people? Well, now PlayStation can just say, if you want Destiny, you have to give us Call of Duty. And it's like, you guys don't have any clue of how this works, do you? Like zero.
Right. Except in my scenario where they get Spider-Man to go multi-platform. That's the only way it can work.
No one cares about that.
No.
Come on.
Spider-Man is so cool, and he belongs to everyone.
He swings from rooftops. Anybody can wear the mask. Just like Rey Skywalker.
No.
No.
Real quick. Okay, this is Joe, this is really for you. You know how everybody hated Star Wars because they put a woman in charge or whatever? They made a woman a Jedi or something.
Uh-huh.
And like Rey really wasn't that great a character. I think we should all accept it. Having just watched The Expanse and several other sci-fi things, there are so many amazingly awesome, badass women in sci-fi. It had nothing to do with Rey Skywalker and a girl.
No.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That was my quick
Right.
aside. Okay.
I do have a question.
So where were you at on January 6th, Luke?
I just got out of your car.
I felt like it was a moment. I had to be a part of it.
It was a school trip.
School field trip.
You said, let's go sit on this lady's desk, and I was there.
The door's open. All right.
So I do have a question for you, though. Like, our last episode, we said we had PlayStation was in trouble, and we had offered a job to a few guys, and now you've got to be the one to tell them that they are out of a job, because I'm not telling them.
Listen, fellas, you could carry a coffin unlike any other, but
EA might be your next target, boys.
No, I think Ubisoft is so.
Ubisoft's doing worse.
Go with God, gentlemen.
They killed Ghost Recon with microtransactions and NFTs, and Ubisoft, man. When Vivendi was attacking them, they were making some great stuff.
Yeah, only under threat were they really, really fantastic, and now it's just.
And turns out they passed that threat down to their female employees, which now it's like, oh, do I love Origins as much as I thought I did?
No. So okay, is there anything else we want to touch upon here? Because I do have a question for you guys.
In this particular deal?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I don't. Yeah. Go on.
No, I don't either. That's why I was like, here's a next major topic.
We've got a few other topics we could touch on, of course.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, hit it.
Because I want to know, guys. Obviously, this wasn't PlayStation's response to Microsoft. What does happen next? Because we hear now, Jeff Grubb going, yes, Sony is talking to someone, and they're warming them up to the idea. Who do you think that someone is realistically that would actually make sense? Please, for the love of God, don't say EA. Like, what do you think the scope? What do you think Sony's missing still from on the publisher developer end?
Missing? They are not in this case. In my answer to you, but it's the same thing I think I said last week, and it's the one that I would have thought would have been the case, and that every insider that couldn't call the Activision deal and couldn't call the Bungie deal, all those insiders.
Yeah. It's gonna be huge.
All of those insiders plus me, Square Enix just makes sense because of all the flirting they continuously do.
Yeah.
But Sony doesn't necessarily need them because it's like they already have them.
Right.
So what do they need at this point? They don't need a fighter. unless they're going to be, because it sounds like they're going to lock Capcom down again for Street Fighter.
Sure.
But it's odd because I mean they own Evo, and I don't know. I don't know what they need, Joe, because they've kind of got everything except
Unlock.
for what's that? Yeah,
Unlock.
I feel like they're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
the portfolio is pretty solid. They got the best superhero game in the business right now.
It's true.
They've got the best third-person narrative games in the business right now.
That's right.
They've got some of the best visuals, though I think that will start to fade. They don't have the best hardware, which that's not a thing that's in the factor on this one.
How dare you? It's such a beautiful console. It's amazing.
Way too big, and I think it's going to start showing its weakness by comparison to the Series X in terms of power.
You're weak. I could pick you up and put you down, bitch.
But by the way, I don't care about that. Like these people that are like
he can pick you up and put you down.
Oh no, he can do it.
I'm a big boy.
He and Henry Cavill. I'll ride him around like Yoda.
Oh please, he's riding you around. He's Henry Cavill. Don't.
I'm gonna ride. Well, whatever Henry Cavill needs, I'm there. Okay, I'll just tell you that.
Yeah.
Not enough. In Witcher 2 season. Never mind. Sorry.
What is happening right now?
I'm afraid of where this conversation is went.
Look how ready he is.
There wasn't enough shirtless scenes with him. You and my mother would agree. My mother, she's like, have you seen Witcher? And I'm like, no, not yet, Mom. She's like, oh, that Henry Cavill. Oh, my goodness. Him and Yennefer. Oh my God, they're so sexy.
Show her the opening scene of Witcher 3, buddy. Give your mom that gift.
All right, I'll give her that gift. No, I don't want my mom to be to get hot and bothered in the same room.
I've seen it. It's great.
Boy.
They really do have everything seemingly unlocked except for hardware, which is not a big deal. And I think we'll start to see over the next few years, Series X probably has more to show. But by transition to that was like, man, Digital Foundry has done some great things for gaming, but I hate when I see their names pop up now on Twitter because it's just like, ugh. Yeah. Okay, the PlayStation 5 had 61 frames and the Series X had 62.
That's what we're down to now. We're down to like individual single count frames. Like
So someone asked me on our Dying Light review, so how was Dying Light 2 in performance since it was only 1080? And my reply was, oh, it was only in 1080? I couldn't tell. I don't know. It looked good. It ran great. Yeah, 60 frames.
Around. It's fine.
So I'll add something to your question, Joe. To Luke's point, need I think is a strong word. I don't think they need anything.
Unpack it.
Yeah. I mean, there's always, that's what I do. It's my catchphrase.
Yeah.
Square Enix seems obviously the most obvious because of everything you said, Luke. But I would argue that if Sony's looking to seriously acquire another company, be it a publisher or just a big developer, I think that they look to Europe. Because in Europe, PlayStation dominates. Their brand is stronger there than Xbox. It just is pretty significantly, save for a few countries here and there. But overwhelmingly, when you talk about overall Europe, PlayStation is huge there, and they have London studios, in England, and they have a few kind of smaller ones that they're now building up again, like they did in the past, which is kind of weird. But my point being is that when you think about what Xbox is building from a Western RPG front, from Elder Scrolls, right, to Obsidian, to everything we've talked about, Fable, and you look at PlayStation's lineup of third-person adventure game, and their already stellar relationship from a Japanese front because they're PlayStation, right, Square Enix, Capcom, etc. If I'm them, which I'm not, obviously, I'm looking into Europe for some type of Western developer that can buoy the PlayStation's first-party lineup with something like a big Western RPG.
So are we thinking CD Projekt Red?
I don't know. I don't see...
Because I don't know that company whatsoever. But when I'm thinking big Western RPG in Europe, that's where my brain goes to.
So... they're obviously last year there were rumors of Xbox acquiring everybody. Yeah. But what I did learn, which I didn't know at the time, was that companies like Techland for Dying Light and CD Projekt Red and a few others I'm going to forget, that the Polish government basically subsidies a huge part of this development for these companies. And so the acquisition kind of not similar, but it's kind of like when you hear about acquisitions of Japanese studios, and it's like Japanese has laws about what countries and companies can do here, and it's very specific. So Poland kind of seems the same way. So that was a long.
I can't wait till you ask Hogue that question when it comes to acquiring a Japanese company.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good conversation too.
Yeah.
So CD Projekt Red, I'm not so sure. But anyway, I don't know. I see them looking Western, somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, I think
Deep Silver came to mind. I mean, they're part of Koch Media.
But yeah, aren't they now?
Koch Media, aren't they?
Yeah,
Koch.
How do you know how you pronounce it? I said Koch.
Get your head out of the gutter. Okay?
I know what you said. That's what you're always thinking about. But
yeah,
no.
We talk about Henry Cavill once on the show. That's where he goes to.
He's Superman.
No, listen, I get it. He's on the list,
Make a Superman game. Somebody.
They are owned by Koch Media, by the way.
Yeah. To me, I think the only thing that Sony is truly missing at this point, because my end game goal is whatever money they were going to acquire something with, just infuse your own studios with them and just make it that way. But the only thing that I think they're missing for me is, you're right, RPGs. RPGs are now taken off the field for them. And I don't really know any other Western developer that comes immediately to mind. Again, I'm sick, so there's really nothing. And so to me, I'm like, I think the probable best thing for you to do is to just, put the ring on square and make sure that Final Fantasy is what it is, just forever a PlayStation thing. And I think that holds enough brand awareness where, look, they're making a Lord of the Rings show. I think you can make a Final Fantasy thing and make it popular. And along the lines as well, translate those IP into your Crunchyroll subscriptions, right? Infuse it that way, where now you could start working with all these anime houses on cool shit like that. To me, that's the only place my mind goes in terms of RPGs. I don't know.
That's another obvious one that would, they've just had that kind of relationship for a long time now, and they've obviously got the timed exclusive deals on Forspoken, Final Fantasy 16, like you said, and it's just another seemingly obvious one. But again, to Luke's point, is that even worth it?
Yeah.
Because they kind of have that locked down already. I was kind of looking up on the side here because I thought off the top of my head that Square Enix was owned by another kind of bigger parent, but maybe it doesn't look like. Maybe I was thinking of someone else.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, if we're taking a look at like Western RPGs, it really just comes down to, like CD. But like, do you even want CD Projekt? I don't know. I can be the judge of that.
No, but I am excited for their next gen updates of Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk. Like I am genuinely curious. Like that is what's going to make me turn on Cyberpunk. And they do have I'm playing through Witcher 3 right now. I want to see that. But CD Projekt Red's name really took a hit.
Yeah,
with Cyberpunk, and I mean really took a hit. And Joe, you and I can say that because my chair is black with Batman on it, and yours is white with.
They're as strong as they've ever been. I don't know what you're on about.
I got a Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber down there.
Oh, that's cool. That's neat. Ains, who made your chair?
What's that? This is Secret Lab. Yeah,
Secret Lab, and what's it branded?
McDonald's.
Got it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Luke loves the Lord. I don't know where the next acquisition lies, but I am kind of nervous about it, guys. I don't know. I'm still nervous. I don't like this whole things could go away. Yeah. Kind of freaks me out.
Away? Nothing's gone away so far.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Choice, freedom, democracy.
That's right. Yeah.
Ring a
You should
bell?
fight for this. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Well, when we were on our way to the Capitol that one time, you made some good points.
Yeah.
I know. It's like AOC. How can I trust a name with only 3 letters, and 2 of them are vowels? Oh my god!
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
So,
It's a threat.
it's a threat.
Can I transition this a bit to a
Sure.
different one? In the next few months, in the next like 2 months or something, I believe it was Bungie Sales that noted this, but I think we've noted it as well. PlayStation has something like 6 exclusives coming out.
Yeah.
Big and small, from small games like Sifu up to much larger games like Gran Turismo and Horizon. And this reminds me, I mean, Xbox had kind of a similar run of Game Pass day and date stuff at the end of last year. But it feels like in the last 2 years, we've had Sony heavy at the beginning of the year, Microsoft handling the back half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like that's happening again here in 2022. Can I tell you, I don't have anything I'm looking forward to on the big scales in 2022 except for Gotham Knights, because none of the games really register with me. I know, Ains, but like Starfield is not one that's going to sell me. Redfall is unproven. Horizon, I will absolutely check out, but that's not my game. I didn't get into the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's weird because what am I into? Halo,
Yeah.
Batman, superhero stuff. And so I feel a little odd looking at this year because I feel like Microsoft's slate is really quiet based on what we know right now. Sony's
Well,
hitting
that's
hard at the
because
beginning.
they're dead. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, snap. Really?
Yeah.
I thought PlayStation was dead because I watched Cast Co-op 19 and we said PlayStation.
Ains, bring the picture back up while I describe or tell Luke why Microsoft is dead. See, Mike, no, the other one.
That one works
break out
too.
the coffin, guys. Break out the
That
coffin,
was more
guys.
suitable for what we're
All
doing.
right, fine. Yeah, you see, Xbox is dead because PlayStation took the Master Chief away from them. So like even the TV show that, like, let's be honest, it looks all right. Oh shit.
It looks Was it this one? Is this the right one? No.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
That trailer looked good. That looks like it has good potential.
What trailer?
The Halo trailer.
Oh, it did.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I have heard about it. Shockingly.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm like, it was just weird hearing you say that, Luke. I guess you were talking specifically about Xbox, but
Yeah.
I'm like more hyped for upcoming games maybe than I've ever been. It's like ridiculous.
So tell me, because I'm not, and it's not because I think gaming is bad this year. I'm like, oh, the ones that talk to me have either just come out or are not coming out for a while.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Suicide Squad got delayed this week. Apparently, they haven't officially said that, but it's been reported. And Gotham Knights was canceled. So I don't know what you have to look forward to.
Gotham Knights was not canceled, listeners. We just haven't heard or seen anything. I literally interviewed the senior game designer just a few weeks back.
Oh, look at me. Plug,
Oh, look! Now we're best friends.
It wasn't a Gotham Knights interview,
I
but I'm
basically
just
half
saying.
developed the game. Look at me.
Oh, whoa! They're gonna
Have
put my
fun.
name in the credits.
Yeah, right.
That's why it was delayed.
I know nothing about that game. I'm just saying it's not canceled. Like, what is there? You know, like
Yeah.
for me, what do you guys?
There's a little
looking
game
forward
called Elden Ring. Have you heard of it?
Yeah,
Biggest game this year. Boom.
heard about it?
to? Do you guys think that game's really gonna hit big, or is it gonna be like still the Dark Souls crowd?
I
Is it
don't.
It's-
gonna go beyond?
Okay,
that, is my
okay.
question.
Joe, we're gonna have to educate our poor.
Tell me, is it gonna be for the
misguided.
Dark? I know it's a big audience. I'm saying, is it gonna go beyond it? Is my
Well,
question.
no, in all seriousness, that statement is
What a
weird
dumb
to me.
question.
That statement is weird because when people say is it just for the Dark Souls audience, it's like, do you realize how much Dark Souls sells?
A lot. But we've said many times, Ains, and I wasn't joking when I asked, we've said many times that people are looking at this game like it's something that it's not because it's open world. They're thinking they're just gonna be able to jump right in. And that is what I'm saying. Like, are they gonna jump in? Is it gonna get backlash because it's not something they thought? And then
I can't talk to the mindset of idiots. I mean, people are
Yeah.
going to do what they're going to do. But what I can talk to is that Sekiro has sold over 5 million copies, right?
Yeah.
And Sekiro had nowhere near the level of hype that Elden Ring has. So I think it's easy to say this game sells 8+ million. And
Okay.
any game that sells 8+ million copies is not a small game.
unless you're Tomb Raider and you made by Square Enix and you're disappointed.
Yeah.
Square sucks. I'm just
But
saying.
we've literally got Elden Ring, Horizon, which looks utterly
It
breathtaking.
does look amazing.
And
Breath
the
of the Wild
next chapter of Destiny. Even though I know we're not big Destiny players, we just talked about how big Destiny is.
Mhm.
We have
Yep.
all that in a week. 1 week, all three of those things launch.
Yeah.
And that's not touching on anything else.
God bless.
Dying Light 2 is tomorrow as we record this.
Mhm,
Oh,
mhm.
yes, that's right. Good game.
Yeah, Sifu is
game.
on
Great game.
Tuesday. Can't even say anything.
Can't say anything.
Are you embargoed? Okay.
No, I'm not even saying anything.
I don't even know if I have it.
I don't even know what that game is.
You could even tell. You could even convince me otherwise.
That's a stupid rule when they put that on embargo.
We got
by the
Gran
way.
Turismo 7. We just got the showcase for yesterday, which looks incredible.
Yeah.
We got Ghostwire Tokyo. Not a big game, but it's another
Yeah.
PS5 game.
But honestly,
No.
that trailer did it for me.
No.
Because
Did it? I saw you say
yeah.
that. No.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh,
No,
so
you're
because
recency bias.
let me just.
No.
There's a lot to unpack here because I have not been.
It does not look
There-
good.
You shut your dumb mouth for just a second. Let me talk.
No.
Because
no.
what's that one mage game? I think it's like Lichdom or something like that, right? Where like it's like a first person aspect and you're a mage and you're just shooting magic out of your hands. I was like, oh shit, so it's like Lichdom. And right where my like that unlocked in my brain, I'm like, oh, okay, then this is pretty tight actually, because I like magic users. That's always my spiel. So I'm like, okay, if I'm just shooting fireballs out of my hands, let's do this.
That's right.
I think
The 2014 6.5 out of 10 game.
Yeah, this game isn't going to be my game of the year. I've already decided it's Horizon because I run a PlayStation show and I need to,
Get them clicks.
You already
get them
did some God
clicks.
of War, huh? Wow.
Yeah. No, I know. God of War is also, they're tied. They're tied.
Oh.
And whatever Xbox comes, a Starfield, piece of shit.
But anyway, the point being is there's a ton of stuff coming in the next 6 weeks or so, right? And then, I know Redfall, you said it's unproven, and I think obviously it's a new IP. But I think unproven's kind of strong given that look at the new IP that my favorite company, who I can't even think of the name of right now. Who's making Redfall?
Arcane.
Arcane, thank you. Look at the IP they have created and how good all their games have been over the last several years, from Dishonored to Prey to Deathloop. I mean, they're all like top tier games. So I think that's good. And Starfield it goes without saying. I mean, I'm not super hyped for it because who knows? But I mean, if it hits, it's going to hit big.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know how you can't be excited for anything but Gotham Knights, of which we haven't seen anything in a year. When's the last time we saw Gotham Knights?
It's the IP I'm
Like 8
excited
months.
about.
Oh, I know.
Like,
I
to
know.
be clear, it's the IP. And the same logic on Starfield. Like, we haven't seen Starfield, so...
Yeah.
And I don't know why the Starfield IP gets people excited. I think Todd Howard gets people excited.
Oh, yeah. It's the potential of what Starfield can be.
Right.
Yeah.
And same. That's what it is for Gotham Knights. I want a Batman DC story. Make a Superman game. What's wrong with you guys?
By the way, you haven't mentioned Zack Snyder yet this episode. I'm getting worried about you. Are you okay?
Yeah, you all right?
I love him so much.
A married man, everyone.
Just want Justice League 2. I just want it.
Whatever it takes.
I'll do it.
Hashtag whatever it takes.
Hashtag whatever it takes.
Okay, so Ains, I don't know if you know, that was the Avengers hashtag.
That's right. Well, now we're hijacking it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
We're pulling a fast one just like Sony did to get the Master Chief
Oh
Bungie.
my God.
My goodness.
Yeah.
What are you excited for real? Like, realist of real, I think Microsoft's going to have a re-release this year, similar to some sort of collection or some sort of like remaster, something to fill out their year. Because right now, Stalker's way out of there. They've got Redfall, they got Starfield. They need at least one more heavy hitter in there. Maybe
You got that
that's
rumor of
Motorsport.
the Gears Master Chief collection, the Marcus Phoenix collection.
Yes.
They do, but wouldn't that make sense to wait till UE5 and they can just get the games on UE5?
Honestly, my guess is, and I don't have any information here. My guess would be
Insider.
they're doing the similar to what they did with Master Chief Collection and Halo 5. Is that they're going to release if it is Gears as rumored, they do a Gears collection. It's remade, right? So you get kind of the best of the old, but you basically let UE5 mature for Gear 6. because Gears, they're giving Coalition, I think, extra time and waiting for Gears 6 till next year is my thought. So why not release Marcus Phoenix Collection, kind of reinvigorate that love for Gears as a franchise? Because Gears 5, I thought was a fantastic game.
Really
I'm a Gears head, but is it fair to say, generally speaking, the Gears IP feels a little flat, a little dated?
It does. It does. It's due for reinvention, Halo Infinite style.
So why not reinvigorate the love for the franchise, bring people back to its core, the Marcus, the Cole, the Baird, right? Let them play through that trilogy. And then as the Series X and UE5 mature, give us a proper Gear 6 next year that is something kind of more revolutionary, is my thought.
It feels too soon for Gear 6.
If they were on their timetable, Gear 6 would release this year.
But I think you kind of have a Halo 5 situation. Not that Gears 5 and Halo 5 compare, but I think Halo as a brand needed the break to come back strong. And we're lucky that Infinite landed the way it did, because it was all over the place, right? But I as a huge Gears head, I've got the Gears 5 system over there. I played them. I love them. I read all the books. But I don't know that Gears is carrying any weight right now with anyone at all. And so I think more time away is the right thing to do.
But releasing late next year is more time away.
Yeah.
That'd be 4 years, 5 years. That'd be 5
late
years.
Next year for Gears 6?
Yeah. That'd be 5 years since Gears 5. And keep in mind, you mentioned Halo Infinite, right? But a big part of why Halo Infinite took so long is because they built an engine from the ground up. Like I've said before, nobody does that. You know why nobody does that? Because it's fucking impossible to build a game engine from the ground up. The Gears team is probably the most experienced team at Xbox with Unreal. And they're literally part of the team that works on Unreal kind of co-development of the engine. So it's far more mature and a far kind of, I won't say simple because nothing's simple, right? But it's a far easier transition to the new engine for the Coalition team with Unreal than like 343 trying to build their own engine.
And just think about it. Like all 3 Gears, like the best of maps. Oh, amazing.
Oh, if you include oh my God.
Yeah.
Give us like
Horde mode and Gears 1. Like, let's get crazy.
Yeah, make it like Gears 3 kind of gameplay, right?
Yep.
Give us all the maps, a remake. Oh my God, I'm in, man.
Just make sure the sawed off isn't in there and you're set.
That's the cheapest weapon ever.
Yeah, it's so cheap. It's so cheap.
But
I hate the sawed off shotgun. That is the easy mode of goddamn that's the equivalent to easy mode for me. That's why it ruins my fun. The goddamn sawed off.
If the
one shot.
Developers believe it belongs in the game,
it's
their vision.
It is their vision. It's a shitty vision.
Rod Ferguson defended it. Who's now at Blizzard? Who's now at Xbox again? Apparently.
What? Honestly, the sawed off was I don't know anyone from the Gears community that thought, yeah, this is great. No, I love this. This is fantastic.
No, it was hated.
Yeah, it was their attempt to try to bring everybody in. And by trying to bring everybody in, you alienated the people that actually play the fucking game.
The problem with Gears, and I want to get off this topic, but the problem with Gears multiplayer is kind of the same problem with Halo multiplayer, is that the elite best of the best command too much power in deciding what's what. And I think that's a problem, because I don't want to play and worry about what wall bouncers want. I don't care about that. I need to be approachable. And when I see people like in the Halo elite communities talking about the Mauler this and this gun and that gun, chill out. The game's for everyone. And I know Ains, I feel like I'm touching a nerve.
No, because I partially agree with you. I really do. I play. You guys know how much I love Halo, and I love playing ranked, and I follow HCS and all that. But I completely agree with you that companies like that kind of navigate their decision making through the hardest of the hardcore. And that has been a downfall for a lot of multiplayer games. Halo and Gears are definitely guilty of that. I think Halo's in a pretty good balance right now. If you're playing quick play and you're playing your your general matches. Pistol and AR starts. The AR is very viable. It's almost too viable. The weapon sandbox is very strong, and then the HCS settings. If you play ranked, it's a different game, and I think it should be. It should be. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah. I mean, I consider myself a pretty good player of Halo, and then when I get into rank with you guys, all right, go fuck yourself. And then when I play ranked with you guys, it's like it is such a different game.
It's a different game,
and I'm like, oh my god. Then I have separate issues of like sound design. Like, let me hear some goddamn footsteps. Anyway, yeah, they're a little quiet, but like, yeah, I think like Halo Infinite has the best balance of like everybody's pretty happy with it because I feel like they understood like the core tenets of what made Halo fun back in the day, and they're like, let's just implement that. Let's have the fun first, and then we can get to the balancing portion afterwards. Because the Mauler isn't like overpowered, I don't think. No. There's just some strategy to it that is a little bit simpler for folks, and it's a power weapon after all. So go get it, and then have fun with it. Yeah.
The big thing with it is they need to make it. I don't think they should leave Judgment out, the same way that I don't think the Master Chief Collection was correct to leave out ODST and Reach, right? Like it needs to.
But do you? I'm sorry. I was just
going
to
launch with it. Is the question? Do you launch?
No. You can leave Judgment in from a campaign perspective, but its multiplayer was very different. So how do you? I don't think you worry about multiplayer for that one. You just let the campaign mechanics be their unique, different self, but not bring it into MP.
I would, in the same way that, and it's not a 1-to-1, but ODST is a very different campaign style, storytelling style.
It is, but the mechanics are the same.
The mechanics are the same. Yes, I grant you that. But I do think you'd be doing a disservice if you have a collection to get people into Gears, and then you leave out one of the games that brought people into Gears, right?
And a prequel at that.
A prequel, and it was beautiful. It was one of the last. It was a good. It's a genuinely very good game.
Yeah.
I got to visit Epic Games to play that game. I had a schedule.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was one of the few times GameStop did anything good for me. So. Can we get to some tweets? We tweeted out a couple things, and I feel like we're winding down. I want to address our friend Lord James Suddy, who said this is his favorite podcast. He said that Cast Co-op is his favorite podcast. He said he recently listened to all of our individual shows and enjoy each of them.
He said they're all terrible.
He's like, yeah, I enjoy each of them. The three of you together, though, just make for excellent entertainment and content. With the gaming industry consolidation coming, do we keep the crazy hope behind every announcement? Or at some point, are we just like, okay, that's great with no fanfare? When PlayStation announced purchasing Bungie, I was not hyped or disappointed. I understand the history, but it seemed like a way bigger deal was being made than what was called for. End question. First of all, thank you for the compliment. That was a really nice compliment you made us.
Was
that was really cool. He said that we're better together than our individual projects. So
we're like the Constructicons. Old
Megazord.
Old man joke.
Yeah. You yeah. Very kind compliment. Thank you, Suddy. I wasn't the Bungie deal kind of just rolled.
Nobody wanted to even take mention to my Power Rangers reference, but fine.
No, the fact that you did the flute, that is the trumpet, that he goes through the dagger with his helmet on.
The coolest dagger ever made. It's also a goddamn flute.
Yeah, but it sounds like a saxophone.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's no way that air can get out of the helmet.
Absolutely no way. That guy got laid 24/7.
I'm going to tell you right now, the one gift my mom never got me was a Dragon Zord, and to this day, I've wanted a Dragon Zord for every occasion of my life, and it hasn't happened. And they're hard to find. They're like $300. I want a Dragon Zord. So that's the one toy in my life that I've never been able to get is a Dragon Zord.
You know what I never had that I really wanted?
What's that?
All right. You got to give me 2 minutes for a
go for it.
2 minutes.
Yeah. No, okay, fine. There's a lot to unpack. Go for it.
Right.
30 seconds. But I'm kidding. Yes, I'm older. We know this. He-Man was a big thing. The original He-Man, right?
Yes, that shirtless man in his underwear. Show us more.
Yeah. Ooh-wee. Let's go.
Ooh-wee.
It's kind of where the awakening happened. No.
That's a weird thing to explain to your wife.
My wife's heard it. She'll be fine.
Had all the toys, figures, right? And I always wanted Castle Grayskull. and I thought I was going to get it one Christmas. I never did. I never had Castle Grayskull because my mom couldn't afford it. You know what she did? No joke. And she used to do this. We were poor. She literally made my own He-Man castle out of a cardboard box and like drew on it and made the skull and all this stuff. And, as a kid, you're disappointed, but you look back on that now and you're like, oh, she's the best.
Yeah. My mom once took a poster of a Power Ranger poster because we couldn't afford the poster. She took a picture of it and developed it so I could have the picture of the poster. We were all, moms are great. Moms are great.
Awesome. Moms are awesome. By the way, Power Rangers, come on.
Shut your goddamn mouth. Mighty Morphin was amazing. And the comic books are incredible. Battle for the Grid, bro.
Yeah.
It's really good. All right. What was so Suddy wants to know, was the Bungie news, did you feel hyped for it? No. All right.
Oh, well, was I excited? Yeah, I was excited as a fan and a PlayStation gamer. Yes.
Compared to Activision.
Oh no, it's two different types of excitement.
Okay.
Like one's like, oh wow, this means the studio I love is with other studios I love, and those studios are being amplified. This is what I want. And then like the Activision one's like, oh wow, if you're an Xbox fan, you just got so much value for Game Pass that you can't shut up about. I'll wait till this game's on Game Pass. Because that's where I get to really try it out.
The day Spartacus drops, this kid's gonna lose his mind.
I am. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a PlayStation version of Game Pass, but better,
No, with Bungie, it was just like literally my response to it was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, okay.
I think if I played Destiny, I would have been worried one way or the other before I found that details.
That's what the conversation is going to be for you with Travis, is because he is a diehard Destiny guy, like 5,000 hours in it. He does a Destiny podcast. And I know some of those guys are a little creeped out by this because they burned by when they were with Activision. So that'll be an interesting conversation.
Cool. Let's see. The Dadcade writes in. What up, Nick Edwards? Good to hear or see your name popping up here, buddy. At what point do you think consolidation for talent stops? Do we see a healthy number of people leaving to form their own studios?
I think that's bound to happen, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, Travis has spoken on this well before, funny enough, is a lot of what happens in the marketplace here, and this is across all tech industries, is you do. Like, if you think about Jason Jones, right? Mm-hmm. He's a guy who co-founded Bungie. They created Halo. They turned this into this multi-$100 million company over the course of a decade, right? And then they go on, they leave Microsoft. They create Destiny. Sorry, my mind is like fried. And now their company just was sold for $3.5 billion. What you see happening a lot of times like this is he'll take that money, and it wouldn't surprise me at all to see someone like Jason Jones or some other big person at Bungie go off and create a new studio. And you basically just do the same thing. You get all your freedom back. You have basically endless funding because you're rich as hell. You get investors who know you can build something special, and you do it all over again. And I think there's so much investment in the gaming space right now. The conversation of consolidation is going to be all the studios and it's too much. It's kind of silly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have an antidote for after the show for that too, of like
anecdote.
What I say?
I don't need an antidote. I hope.
I got a stuffy nose and I'm dumb. Okay. Please settle down.
Last week, Gaines made fun of you for being dyslexic. Remember that?
Such a good burn. Such a good burn. No, just take it. Just take it. It's a compliment.
No, I want to be clear on camera. I'm not making fun of people who are dyslexic.
No, he did.
You should have heard the tone.
He also wanted to kick a puppy, I heard.
Yep.
He was trying to bite me.
You should have. Oh my God, you should have heard him before. Yeah. Anyway, so before you were on, he was awful. About your mother. No, about people building teams, then getting purchased, bought out, and then selling them, and leaving and doing the same thing all over again. You see that constantly, and I mean, look at there's ex-Blizzard devs, right, making what is it like Dream Mixcape or something like that, like a new publisher, Dreamhaven or something. I forget.
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there were like Activision Blizzard people leaving to form their own publisher days before the acquisition. So, to me, I as scary as it does seem for me, yeah, you're going to have people going out there and wanting to build something out of nothing. And there are going to be devs that don't want to sell or publishers that don't want to sell. So there's always going to be those things. And, I get it. Change is scary, but change happens whether you like it or not.
Yeah. And there's going to be new Bungies. There's going to be new whoever you want to name, right? There's going to be companies we don't even know of right now that are going to create something magical and be the next it. And that's going to happen over and over again. Probably more than it's ever happened before because of how big gaming has gotten.
Yeah.
One of the things that excites me about the consolidation and the idea that some of those people are not going to want that, they're going to go out and make their own, is that it brings more funding into gaming. And more to the point, we get to see studios create second and third teams in much of the way that several of them already have. Like we know Playground has multiple teams. Coalition's working on a project that's not Gears, that is going to release on its own as a smaller thing. We know that. We know that multiple studios have several teams under them. Ninja Theory is a good example. So I'm very curious as to what it's going to be.
Hey, Ains, I'm curious. What the fuck are you spinning?
Thank you. I told you I heard something earlier.
I'm here.
Really?
I thought it was
see
you,
me.
Joe.
I'm not even moving. I don't know.
Let me see your hands. I don't believe you.
You see my
Gooey.
I'm not even doing anything.
All right.
That's what I was hearing earlier, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh,
You thought
sorry.
it was crazy. You thought it
Maybe it's like my foot on the desk. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Sorry. I'll sit.
Continue, Luke.
I don't know. I lost it.
Yeah. Next question, sir.
Not really a question. Dano wrote in, kind of adding on to some of Suddy's points. I should have read them when I read Suddy's stuff, but Dano, always appreciate you checking out the stuff. He appreciated the promise that Bungie was making and Sony was making in their blog posts. And then I'm just kind of scrolling through some of last week's comments, not last week's, 2 weeks ago's comments from Casco Up 19, which really did well. Thank you guys so much for clicking like and share and checking out that. Really, I think one of our best episodes. For the record, I'm just gonna kind of cherry pick a few of these points. Gen said that he in the comments for that episode said, just like the IPs from ZeniMax, I think Microsoft will make all IPs from Activision Blizzard once the acquisition is complete exclusive to Xbox, PC, xCloud ecosystem, with the exception of legacy titles, i.e. games that you can currently play across all systems for any contractual obligations. So the idea that nothing that's going to be removed, but everything going forward will be exclusive, is what Gen is saying there. And I think I tend to agree with a lot of that, barring some negotiated deals and the idea that maybe you log into your Xbox account on a PlayStation at some point in 5 years' time. Let's see. I'm scrolling through another one. Project X Talk giving us shout outs. Big Mad Mo in the chat or in the comments giving us shout outs, as was Mr. Mariano Pampa, Court Lalonde, Alex Ferreria, and so many more of you guys. Jordan from the Backlog Chronicles is in there. Storm Shadow 123. Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Jordan 123 specifically said to us, Phil doesn't have billions of dollars. Microsoft does. Thank you for your contribution, Storm Shadow. You have truly made gaming better.
What? No. It's Phil. Phil has it.
Literally
Phil
his
Spencer?
pockets.
It's his pockets. Yeah.
And his money.
Trust me.
Trust me. He won an award, which we'll talk about another time. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I have actually one thing I wanted to ask you.
Oh, go for it.
Both of you. So it just announced today that the Switch is now the best-selling Nintendo console of all time. It passed the Wii. The Wii was 101 million units. The Switch is now at 103. That was based on their last quarter estimate. So my question to you guys is, the Switch is the fastest selling console of all time at this point. It's faster selling than the PS4. And Nintendo's executive came out today and said the Switch is not even halfway through its life cycle. That's what they said.
Yikes.
Which is, that's a whole nother topic. What I wanted to ask you guys is, it's always been thought impossible that any system console would pass the PS2 at 155 million units. Do you think the Switch will do it?
I never had a doubt it wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it passes 150.
Okay, that's not what you said. You had never had a doubt that it would. You believe the Switch is going to pass it. I'm asking for clarity.
Yes.
I'm asking for clarity.
Yeah. I believe it will. Yes.
I was not trying to be rude. I'm sorry if it sounded rude.
Yeah.
So you think the Switch is going to pass 150 million?
55 million. Yeah.
155. I don't think it will. I don't think it will, but I am so wrong on Nintendo all the time. Edward Varnell and his people are soon going to have to defend NFTs, which is just wild because Nintendo's cool about that. I don't understand Nintendo apologists at this point, and I say that as an owner of a Switch who loved Nintendo, who had a Wii U and loved a lot of the games there. I don't understand what the infatuation is, and I think the reality is it's because it's not people like us buying them. It's kids.
Yeah.
Kids. That's why. That's why. You can play Fortnite on it. You can play Mario on it, and people know Mario. But I don't know, man. Another 50 million units and change in a time where we're moving into mobile spaces and xCloud and the like over the next 5 years. I don't know.
I like that we got two different opinions. Yeah, because I honestly don't know either. It's easy to say yes because at the pace it is right now, but that pace slows down, and I don't know if it can keep this pace up. Remember, the PlayStation 2 sold for like 13 years or something ridiculous. Like that's why it's so high and it was so popular. So it'd be curious, but I figured that was worth mentioning because Nintendo is the huge brand, and the fact people think of like the NES as one of the greatest consoles of all time, and the reality is it's not even in the top like 5 best-selling consoles. The Wii, and now the Switch has passed it. So that's it. That's all I had.
Let us know in the comments.
And Gran Turismo looks awesome.
Yeah,
and Ghostwire Tokyo does not.
I'm not gonna hang my hat on it. You could disrespect it. It's not a personal attack to me. I don't give a fuck if you buy it or don't.
I'm buying it. It looks weird, and I like.
Yeah, it looks weird. Yeah, it looks weird. It looks different.
It doesn't look great, but it looks weird.
Yeah, it looks weird. I'm in.
I'll check it out. It'll be a game.
I think I'm gonna get Tiny Tina's Assault for.
Oh, I'm definitely getting it.
More money.
For all that's happening in March. Wait, is Tiny Tina in March?
Yeah. What else is happening in March?
Well, I guess you already finished Dying Light. Yeah. Elden Ring is going to take you a good bit, I would guess.
Yeah, but Elden Ring's a game that will play for years.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was curious. All right.
Yeah,
Crossfire X, baby.
Jesus. Although we did learn that campaign is in Game Pass, which we didn't think ahead of time.
Part of one of the campaigns. It's 2 campaigns. One of them is in there. Okay. That is a great way to decide if you want to play that game or not.
Then I'm going to be playing one of the Crossfire X campaigns.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no marketing. I have contacts at Remedy to do like reviews and stuff.
Here we go again. You hear him all night, Joe. He's just
honestly, people that brag that they have connections and codes are unbearable.
I went to the studio and played that game.
Oh, I don't even want this code. They just gave it to me. I don't even want it. It's fine. It's just this PR person doing their job.
I have given you some of those codes before, but what I was going to say is
yes,
we don't have any. Yeah. They're like, codes? Like they were confused. What's a crossfire? I was like,
yeah. Oh shit, we're making it.
We better get to work.
Since when?
What's that release date? They tweeted what?
What?
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's a thing. Yeah, Game Pass is going to be good to us, though.
Yep.
So, boys, you got anything good coming up on your respective shows? Ains, anything good look forward to with Bitcast? I know you just added a new member.
Yeah. So we talked before about wanting to get to 4 kind of dedicated members and having more of a set show than rotating guests every week. So luckily,
Joe, were you invited?
No.
So you guys have your own show. So we had a fantastic episode.
Just would like the offer.
With, I would have said no.
With thanks. With Hogue Law, everyone knows him as Hogue Law, as Rick Hogue. And we talked offline. He said really nice compliments about Bitcast and the way that we handle ourselves and the conversations we have. And we talked over the last few days. And so he's joining the show at least for the next kind of couple months. Obviously, He's got family. He has his own channel. So he's going to see how the timing works out. And assuming timing works out and he doesn't dislike us, he'll be a full-time member. So look
Nice.
forward to that. I think what it does for us is I think it's going to give us the capability to have kind of a discourse on weekly shows that other shows can't match.
Yeah.
Which I'm really looking forward to, because you guys know me. I like kind of getting into the tech or to the industry side of things, and he brings another perspective that I think is going to be really cool. So, check that out. Big Cast every Sunday morning. We're live. You can join us, hang out. Other than that, Season Gaming just kind of rolling along, as I always say. Check it out. We did launch Patreon this year. We've got some kind of original and exclusive content there, and we actually launched a new series that, as you listen to this, it'll be out next week for everyone on the channel, but a new series called For the Record, which is going to be for the tech junkies out there, where I sit down with Carl Dwyer, who's another contributor for Season Gaming, a bona fide just geek when it comes to kind of the inside of how all this tech works in the consoles and stuff. And what we're doing is we're taking one topic every time we do an episode and breaking it down to the granular details. So this first episode, we talk about the difference in storage solutions between the PlayStation 5 series consoles and PC, and what all the the technology, like you hear velocity architecture and feedback sampling and geometry engine. You hear all these things. What do they actually mean? And what
that's
do they
cool.
Do? So look for that on the channel as well. That's enough for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. As I try to fight off the sneeze, you can find me over at the Trophy Room. You know the spiel. Each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation. This week, there are 2 episodes out. One covering, I know I say it really fast. One covering solely the Bungie acquisition, which is a really, really fun episode to record with Kyle. Honestly, one of our favorites. I know I've been saying that a lot because we've been on a roll, but honestly, it's a lot of fun. Our fans really had a lot of fun with us as well. And then as well, we had our second video or podcast out as well, so you should check that out on Thursday. Right now. And this weekend, still recording a lot of review stuff. So be on the lookout next week. We got a lot of thoughts on a lot of things. So, that's it. That's all. Mr. Badbit at PS Trophy Room. You know where to find us.
And you, of course, can find me on Twitter at Insipid Ghost, XEP, Xbox Expansion Pass, all your podcast services. I've got Ty Guy Travis coming on to talk to me about why game consolidation, and specifically this Bungie deal, is a bad thing. I'm also going to be. I love Travis, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I like him.
I'll also be interviewing the developers of an indie game called Infernomax. Infernomax. I need to check the
it might help if you know how it's pronounced.
I know. I'm embarrassed because I've been playing it, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. But it what is known is it's a Zelda 2 Castlevania style game. Bloody as all get out. It looks really fun. And I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy it. So I'm anxious to talk to those developers, working on a few other interviews for some upcoming games that are also very bloody. It might take place in the shadows. And then kind of bummed out, I had a big interview, like the biggest XEP was ever going to have, that through no fault of the person that was going to be interviewed, several bad things happened in their life. And so hopefully that gets rescheduled, because it's a voice that I really want XEP listeners to get to check out at some point. So here's hoping.
Here's a hoping.
Yeah. Well, guys, should we keep casting that co-op?
Keep casting that co-op.
We did it.
Someone rolled something through my door.
We did it, boys.
That's very fitting.
That's good. And it's us right there.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
That's us.
Oh, geez. Thanks for listening. Oh, God.
Oh, God. Love you.